We think that inflation is going to pick up quite nicely this year. In any case, we do expect inflation in the US, as measured by core PCE, to hit 2% by the end of next year. So this year, we think 2 rate hikes will be enough to actually try to stem inflation from growing up too fast. And we think that is actually much needed. The only reason why the Federal Reserve did not hike last year, and only once, was largely because of Brexit in June, and largely also because of the turmoil that was created because of the election campaigns. But this year, we think that 2 rate hikes is actually in the bag.
Now, what will that mean for emerging Asia? Because whenever we get a rate hike in the US, it means outflows for emerging Asia. Is that going to be the scenario again this year?
Well, we think that the dollar strength is likely to actually start abating from here, largely because the dollar right now is probably very, very close to being overvalued. So on that sense, we do think that the Asian currencies are likely to be quite flattish against the US dollar, and also because we don't think that the interest rate differential between the Asian currencies and the US dollar is likely to actually widen significantly. The market expects only 2 rate hikes. If for some reason the Federal Reserve comes in with more, then clearly that would be negative for the Asian currencies, right? But there are a couple of currencies that you really need to keep a watch on, and that's largely, again, the ringgit, because of the fact that your foreign institutional holdings of the ringgit-denominated government bonds is very, very high. So if the differential between the ringgit-denominated bonds and the US dollar-denominated government bonds actually narrows, then clearly that's a negative for the ringgit
We
itself.
were talking about the ringgit, of course, with Gareth Barry, of course, from Macquarie. I mean, he did have a very bleak look for the ringgit. What's your outlook?
Well, we think that the ringgit has actually been oversold, but at the same time, we don't think that there is any recovery on a short-term basis, largely because the foreign institutional holdings of the ringgit will always act as an overhang. So if you want to go into the ringgit itself, you always have to be thinking that if the Federal Reserve hikes twice or even 3 times, then the sell-off of the ringgit is just likely to actually continue. With oil prices stabilizing, with oil prices perhaps potentially recovering to $60 per barrel, that is probably the only positive outlook for the ringgit. But other than that, there is hardly any positive news on the ringgit front.